Then you came back and opened an Indian restaurant in Bangkok?
Completely. I will be very honest again because I wanted to do in Bangkok, and people ask me this question: why Bangkok? Because in Bangkok we have an Indian restaurant in every soy. Every soy is a street.
Every street.
Every street. Every 500 meters you can find an Indian restaurant, and they literally serve cancel on plate. I mean, you eat a curry, your hand can get red. There's some really good Indian restaurants also. Let me not take their credit off. But then
There are?
there.
Name three.
Indus.
All right.
Indus Rang Mahal, which is there for 20 years.
Okay.
And there's this Himali Chacha, which I don't like, but people
Nepali.
like.
It's Nepali. not
Nepali
Indian.
guy, yeah.
Name a third Indian.
Yeah, but all are.
right.
Yeah. The third is Gaggan. So,
Yeah.
so there are restaurants, but every Thai would eat out every night, but would not go to an Indian restaurant in 1 year. Indian food would be once in their 2 years or 3 years. And that was the change I wanted to create. And when Vir came, the first thing he saw was, he was not even recognized in my restaurant. He was this first 2 months. I didn't have a coffee machine, so when he came, it was a raining night. And he said, okay, you don't have a table, can I get some coffee? I said, Vir, can you buy the coffee from that shop? And in 45 minutes, come back, I'll cook for you. So
You've been open what? You just
and he wrote that. That was Vir, no?
2 months?
2 months, yeah, 2 months, 2 months. I was very lucky to be loved by India and one of the greatest journalists India has seen. So,
But now talk a little bit about your food. It's not, it uses some molecular techniques, or what we, for want of a better term, we call molecular, like spherification or whatever, but there's much more to it than science. So just explain that to me.
see, what I did was, in 2010, I took 1 year break and I was cooking, and that time we had very bad problems in Bangkok. We are used to this 5-year problems in every 5 years.
2 years.
2 years actually, yeah. I hope there's no Thais here. So, so I mean, and my restaurant is in a protest area center location. So anything happens, the protest, my restaurant literally gets closed. So I got extra time that time to cook in home. So I set up a lab in my home. And when I started cooking, I used to refer books. El Bulli, Alinea, Noma. This is what I was referring. 2012, I decided, when the restaurant was 2 years old, I said, let me create my own cuisine and not read any book anymore. Because then I will not have a reference. What do I refer to? Eat. Suresh was telling me, where do you want to eat today? I said, can I go out eating in the streets? This is what we create. So I thought, and then when he last dined with us, and Suresh who dined also, we did this, a dish which is now very famous. We call it charcoal. But what we did with charcoal, a dish where the batter is a tempura, but the tempura is actually jalebi ka batter. We create a salty dish from jalebi. Why, for so many years, do we have to use a batter just to make jalebi? Why can't we use the same batter and not put a sugar syrup and create the most crispiest, crumpiest tempura ever in the world?
Talk about the filling also, because that's very interesting.
The filling I don't want to say because I want them to pay and eat in my restaurant and get the discovery.
All right.
Yeah. But the filling, yeah, for the vegetarians is more easy. We used, and the idea came to me when I was eating jalebi kachori. So I used matar kachori to put it for the vegetarians, and the jalebi to make the batter, and we put some charcoal powder and made it black. But it was kachori and jalebi in your mouth. And do we use science? Yes, we actually control the fermentation. We control. We do a lot of, but we never let now guests know how much science is used. What we believe in Gaggan is who's the hero, not the chef, the food. And that is most important.
But you are, I mean, apart from the fact that you're now the most successful Indian chef in the world, you are also the first Indian chef to find success abroad who has never cooked in London or the West, who has no formal training in French food. We know now you don't know how to make a demi-glace. I'm not sure you know how to make a hollandaise or a béarnaise.
Hollandaise,
You know?
yeah, and I know how to make
all right.
and I know how to make an omelette, like for 100 food journey lovers.
So you're a chef who's come probably taken Indian food in a new direction without, like say the chefs in London who've tried to Frenchify it or change the presentation. The direction you've taken it is entirely your own.
Yes, this is what I said, because I didn't want it to be referred as he copied this. I didn't want it to be another El Bulli of Indian food. I wanted to create my own identity as Gaggan. I cannot take the credit that Indian chefs that have gone to London and brought fame to our cuisine. What they have done in their prime. And we definitely owe it to them. At least they got Michelin stars for us. They made Indian cuisine famous. But yes, in Bangkok, it was a very tough risk that I was taking in. And it paid off. But then yes, I am very much into believing that I need to create my own identity. It's very important because as a chef, what you cook, it should reflect in your food. If the food is too salty, that means something's wrong in your tongue. And if it's too sweet, then something wrong in your tongue too.
Over time, I'm going to take a couple of questions from the audience. But before that, one last point. Though your food may look different, it may look interesting, it may look unusual, every single flavor is Indian. That's
completely Indian. We don't have a garam masala in our kitchen. We don't have we do have chaat masala. Sorry. MDH only. So they have not yet sponsored me, but I can. But we don't. We create. I'll be honest. In that 5 years of my catering life, I actually learned Indian food from Maharajas, from Thakurs, the khichdi, the Chandan Nagar khichdi, and things that people, the mithai. I've actually understand Indian food, the whole food of India from very domestic level. And that has changed me as a chef. We try to replicate the problem that I have observed eating in our restaurants in India is we try to replicate other successful restaurant dishes. And I didn't want to replicate a guest experience in London in a famous Michelin star Indian restaurant. I wanted to replicate Gaggan experience. They would feel Gaggan, they will feel the difference, and then yet taste something which is very Indian and very familiar to their mouth.
But your journey, therefore, is not the standard catering college to Oberoi to London to Michelin star, which is what most famous Indian chefs say. Yours is street of Calcutta, making food for employees of Pizza Hut, learning new techniques and inventing your own cuisine.
Completely.
It's a very, very different journey, and I think people sometimes forget that.
It's what has made me as a chef.
All right. Okay, we can take a couple of questions. Can we have the lights up, please? It's very eerie not seeing anyone. Meanwhile, any other question? Put your hand up. Okay, there's a gentleman there. We'll give you a microphone. There's a... okay, all right.
Yeah, I want to open in India, but it's not a Gaggan. Gaggan is where Gaggan cooks, and I'm not a kind of a chef. I don't believe in it that my name should hang in 50 different countries and 50 different cities. We would open, sorry for Delhiites, but I chose Bombay.
When?
When the people agree with my terms and conditions. So we have we are opening in Bombay for sure next year.
Okay, there are rumors all over Bombay that you're opening in November. It's not going to be that.
Impossible. November is impossible.
Right.
We've hired the chef also, and it would be that chef's journey and that chef's food. And what I have taken an oath is I would not import anything from outside India. We would use only the produce of India and create Gaggan philosophy, new restaurant, new brand food. It's not Gaggan Bangkok, Gaggan Bombay. Gaggan is in Bangkok. We will compete with each other, but Bombay will compete to Bangkok. This is what we'll do.
Well done. Okay, somebody else with a question?
Good morning, my name is Deepika, and first of all, I have to say it's such a pleasure to see you candid in conversation. My question really is very simple. How was it? Because it made such a big splash in India when Gaggan Bangkok became the topmost restaurant in Asia. So we really want to know what is it that, how was the feeling, number one?
The feeling was amazing. I was in tears, but it is amazing because I called my mom for
Every time Gaggan wins something, he does two things.
Yeah.
First he cries and then he calls his mom.
Yeah. And then, but but this will change. I can't be number one next year again.
Yeah.
It will change. It's fashion. You're in vogue, you're out of vogue. But my cooking won't change. There are restaurants, which he said, which I also have the same value. Like, there are restaurants that should be on the list, are not on the list. Finally, Manish Mehrotra has got some acclaim in this country. He was working so hard for it.
But not enough, no? It should be much higher.
Yeah, it should be much higher.
Much higher on the list.
And I hope, and I pray that he grows higher. But he has to compete with my restaurant in next year, so.
And from New York.
Very well said.
Yeah, I mean, Manish and I, we have, this is how we've grown as chefs. And please understand that there are restaurants, like I'll give an example. Today I am in fashion, that's why I am getting this publicity, I'm getting the selfies. But has Fat Duck, which was number one in 2004, cooked bad food from then to now? No, it's improved. But it's gone out of fashion. Has Thomas Keller a no greater chef? No, he is one of the greatest legends. But this is all about fashion and how things happen. Okay. So yes, I mean.
So just like there is a wasabi by Morimoto, will there be a Gaggan restaurant all over the world?
No, I won't. I told you, I won't. If there's a restaurant, it will be other chef's name and another brand. I am investing on another chef.
Okay. Thank you.
You said you served a meal of 13 rupees to Pizza Hut people, employees. If somebody approaches you again today, would you be able to do that same?
I'll be honest. There are times when I get serious journalists from all over the country, all over the world actually. And when they come, they definitely eat one dinner at Gaggan. But then I personally cook something very humble for them. And I personally am a very simple person to eat. I cannot go back to that days of 13 rupees tiffin carrier. It was my struggling days.
Yeah, look, but aata hai, do you know how to make it is the question. Or have you forgotten?
As I told you, I cook humble food. You come and I can challenge anybody with khichdi.
So basically, yes, he can do it, but he doesn't want to. I think that's the answer.
My name is Sandeep. I'm a chef as well. I'm 23. I want you to tell me about legitimacy of the people who judge you on the basis of what you do. Here we have people like Shuchir Suri talking shit on Food Talk India. That I do not like. I am part of this generation. I am part of this. I've gone to a good school and I've seen everything as well. When people like that say things about you, you don't like it. People of my generation, people my age, they think my profession is bad. People do not get into it because of this. I'm 23. People my age do not do this. They've all gone to Liquid Blue and God knows what.
Okay, all right.
There has to be something here.
Okay, I think there's a question somewhere in that. You want to answer?
Do you love cooking?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel when you cook?
I feel happy. It's my
Do you feel
favorite
relaxed?
expression. Of course.
Yeah? You can be successful opening a curry house in the street and be happy if you're happy at cooking.
I am.
I was happy cooking for Pizza Hut because that was my struggling days. I worked in Noma for one day. 3 years back, I met Rene yesterday, like last week. Okay, 3 years back I went to Noma just to see, because I want to be one of the chefs of that level. No, I've seen at Ed Bulli, so I thought, what is Noma? What is it so much? I went to Noma. I was supposed to work there for 7 days. I was 34 that time. I was made to work 18 hours peeling carrots. My hands were like literally carrots. And then I cancelled my training. I said, I'm not going to do this. Because that time I was 32 and I had a Gaggan back home. But till you don't become something, that's what I said in the morning, till you don't become something, you have to suffer. Life is pain unless, this is chef, you got to burn your hand. You got to suffer.
I'm not saying that.
Everybody,
I'm not talking about work.
please understand, you are 23 and at 23 you have a midlife crisis. And when you have a midlife crisis at 23, we all have. I had my midlife crisis at 21 and I was angry at everyone. I was angry at all the chefs I knew. I was angry at hotels, but I realized what a big idiot I was. For 6 years, I missed the train. Because sometimes our ego is not more important. At the end, can you cook an omelette? Is what you have to ask yourself. If you can, then be confident, do your restaurant.
I think the answer to your question is it doesn't matter if people of your generation think being a chef is not a great thing. It doesn't matter what they think of your food. They are not qualified to judge it. Nor are many of the people like me and Suresh and Vikramjit who write about it. Work to an international standard. Work sincerely. Work hard. If it makes you happy, recognition will come. Is that
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Not really, but fine.
All right. Then you catch them outside, but don't do it in the hall, or go outside and talk to them. We'd love to take more questions, but Gaggan's here, so you can ask them.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Gaggan Anand, the rock star of Indian food.
Thank you so much, Gaggan, for sharing with us your heartfelt emotions and experiences, and for reinventing Indian cuisine and taking it globally. Thank you.